Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is a procedural programming that is a business skills for e-commerce module. This is the third module which I am teaching you, which is continuing going on. That is the third module, that is a business skills for e-commerce. First of all, we have covered two modules, that is the computer system and the procedural programming, that is the C programming. This is the third module, that is the business skills for e-commerce. We have covered chapter number 1 of this module. Now we are doing the chapter number 2, that is the framework of e-commerce. That is, what is the structure of e-commerce, that is a framework of e-commerce. We have covered so many activities, we have covered so many functions in e-commerce, how it will be used and how it can be done. So let's discuss what we have covered in the last class, then move to the next part, that is today's topic, that is the next topic, that is what we have left or what we have not covered in the yesterday's class. So first of all, let's take the what we have covered in yesterday's class. Now, in the yesterday's class, we have covered about the various functions or their activities, or the activities and their functions. So the first one is billing. That is the first function that we have covered in the last class, is the billing. That is, the billing is also used as a major consideration while doing the or while making the framework for the e-commerce. That is the billing. So this says, once a seller has delivered goods or services, a bill is sent to the buyer. This bill generally includes remittance information that should accompany the payment. That is, this bill generally includes the remittance information that is used for the remittance that should accompany the payment. Sometimes a seller may require payment in advance. So sometimes there is a requirement for getting the payment in advance, or sometimes a supplier also need a shipping notification first of all. So this is also a consideration, that should be a, or there must be a proper billing method, proper billing procedure for using how the billing can be done. Then next is payment and settlement. That is the next part. That is, payment and settlement is also the key feature that is used for the e-commerce framework. So this says, the buyer or some financial intermediaries eventually sends some form of electronic payment, that may be in the form of digital cash, that may be in the form of obligation, that may be a authenticated payment instruction. It may use any one, but the consideration must be carried out on the payment and the settlement. Settlement is the stage when the payment and the remittance information analyzed by the seller and the user, and both seller and the buyer are mutually agreed on the agreed on one agenda or one topic, that is the mutual coordination settlement among the buyer and seller. Then the next part is distribution and receipt. That is the next part. That is, it is also in consideration that what are the things that is distributed and what are the things that is not distributed, and how the receipt can be achieved, or how we can use the receipt, that is a proof for delivery of the purchasing of goods and services. Then there must be a proper accounting, that there must be a proper billing procedure, there must be a proper accounting procedure, which goods are taken off, which goods are carried out, what is the account payable, what is the inventory information, accounting system. So everything is maintained online. So there must be activity, or this activity includes the various functions like account payable, account receivable, inventory information, accounting systems. Then the last activity is the customer services. That is, the customer service is the last activity that includes providing the buyer with timely information to the progress of the transaction. Next, handling customer requirement or handling customer requirement when transactions go awry. That is, resolving the mistakes, disputes, complaints concerning the product quality, delivery or payment. That is the next point. Then providing expert advice and assistance in the use of products and services. That also, customer services also provides the better use for the goods and services that is displayed in the, or displayed by the user. Customer services is one of the important framework, or one of the important method that is used. So this is a framework developed with all the needs and consideration in mind. That is, before developing the framework, or before developing the framework for e-commerce, these all activities and their functions must be kept in mind before making the framework for e-commerce. So this is whenever all this consideration is taken in mind, will form the strongest basis for a powerful and useful electronic commerce infrastructure. So when taking all the information, all the consideration, so the new information or the new infrastructure is built, that is the e-commerce framework. So this forms the strongest basis for a powerful and useful electronic commerce infrastructure. So then we have studied about what is the e-commerce infrastructure. We have discussed about these layers, that is the e-commerce core, in the last class. So this is the infrastructure for the e-commerce. First of all, there is a financial issues. In between, there is a e-commerce core. Then there are different layers in the e-commerce core. That is business applications, services enabled infrastructure, content development, deployment, and distribution infrastructure. And these are the various issues, various aspects in the e-commerce. That is the financial issues, market access, cultural issues, network protocols, and technical, legal, and regulatory issues. So these are the various criteria, these are the various terms that is used with the e-commerce. So these are the various parts of the e-commerce, that is financial issues, market access, cultural issues, network protocols, technical, and the legal and regulatory issue. That there must be consideration of these things for the e-commerce framework. That there must be a cost benefit analysis, that is the financial issues. There must be a market access, that is what is the demand, what is the supply in the market. Then cultural issues, that there should be a proper culture followed by the e-commerce. Then there should be a proper network protocols and their technical knowledge, technical part of the network. Then legal and regulatory issue, that there must be involvement of the government also, so that everything is going in a regular way, regular way, and with all the rules and the regulation. Right. Then we have studied about business applications, service enabling infrastructure, content development, deployment, and distribution infrastructure. So when we talk about the e-commerce core, this is going from bottom to the top. This is. So this is a generic framework can be explained in two parts. It can be explained in two parts. First of all, it consists of basic infrastructure, which contains various activities like this one, this one, this one. Next point says a five-corner web of these ultimately shaped all the efforts. Then we have discussed about what is the e-commerce core, that is following a bottom-up approach. As I said, this is first one, then second, then third one. That is the e-commerce core, that is described as a three-layer hierarchical structure where each subsequent layer is based upon the lower layer. That is this layer is based on this layer is based on this layer. That is these layers are based on one another or coordinated with one another. This is the next, that is the content development, deployment, and distribution infrastructure. That is the first part we have discussed. That includes how to develop the contents, how to deploy them, that is how to use them, and how to distribute among various e-commerce sites, among various e-commerce transactions. That is the content development, deployment, and distribution infrastructure. So this layer will include all the hardware and network infrastructure that will act as a physical infrastructure to enable e-commerce transactions. So this layer, that is the content development and deployment layer, includes every hardware and network infrastructure, that will act as a physical infrastructure to enable the e-commerce transactions. That includes first of all content development infrastructure, that there must be a proper method, proper rules regulation that is follows for the content development, that there must be a proper infrastructure that is made for the developing the contents. That includes the multimedia publishing, multimedia storage, deployment infrastructure. So these are the three infrastructure that is included. Then next is, this is content development infrastructure. Then Distribution infrastructure, that is the next part, that is how the items or how various transactions must be distributed among various users, that is a distribution infrastructure. That includes network access device infrastructure, infrastructure by the network service providers, that is how network service providers or how network access devices are used or implemented by the various NSPs, that is the network service provider. That includes the national data, information carriers, third-party value, added networks and other network service providers. Then the last one is global information delivery network. Then we have discussed about service enabling infrastructure. This is what we have also discussed, that is a second last part, that is a service enabling infrastructure, that is how to enable the services or how what are the parties that is involved in this infrastructure on the e-commerce infrastructure. For example, if I am dealing with you, I'm teaching you and you can get the information from me. So we are doing the e-commerce transactions. Why? Because you are paying to my company, that is a Mercury Solutions, for your study purpose, right? So you pay to me or you pay to my company, I will give the information. That is the e-commerce application. So this is service enabled infrastructure is secure and both the parties are involved or every party is involved who is using the e-commerce. Now, what are the activities we have discussed in the last class, that what are the activities in the service enabled infrastructure? First is secure business transactions by providing hardware and software solutions. Development of secure electronic payment fund transfer system. Third party verification and authentication services. Developing standards and formats for content development, creation, distribution and deployment. Then deployment and development and deployment of technologies enabling convergence of different medias, that includes transmission technology, information access devices. Then offline support services, that is provided by traditional brick and mortar model. Then we have discussed about this thing, that is the next layer, that is the business applications. That is in which application the e-commerce is generally used. That is also a part of the framework of the e-commerce. That is also included in this one. That is the business applications. That is the area in which the e-commerce is used. We have discussed about various areas where application that can be offered online or that can be used e-commerce applications. First is online education, like we are doing the online education. I'm giving you online education and learning via distance learning, via virtual classroom or via CBT. We can use any method for the online education and teaching. Then online marketing, communication and promotion. That is, this is also a field, that is the e-commerce can also be done online for marketing purpose, competition purpose and their promotion purpose. For example, if I want to sell something, I can do the marketing either online by using various pop-ups in the websites, by using Google ad, by using mail to someone. So there are multiple methods for marketing. There is proper communication and there is proper promotion among the e-commerce. That is the promotion is made, that is the include this one, so you get a this ticket, include this one, you get a free voucher. That is the promotion of the any business. Then online shopping, that is online shopping can also be done with the help of e-commerce. That is the shopping can also be done for example, I will use Flipkart or any jabong.com. These are the popular sites in India, that is for the online shopping. Then e-procurement and e-purchasing, that is we can also use the e-procurement, that is the electronic procurement or purchasing for purchasing purpose for trading of goods and services. Then next is online gaming, that is also a part. That is online gaming means playing the game online by using various options, by using various criteria. Then online news and bulletin boards, online customer feedback and satisfaction surveys, online research, online retailing and sales, online after sales and complaint rehearsals, e-auction, online stock trading and broking, online entertainment. So these are the various application areas in which e-commerce is used. This is the important, that is the online entertainment, because there are so many websites available like YouTube. We can download anything, we can use anything, that is the online entertainment. Online stock trading, we can check the what is the current price for the market, that is the stock exchange. Marketing, brokering, we can use anything online doing the e-commerce. Then digital video and animation, online banking services. This is also important. Nowadays, everything is doing online. Even using the ATM, that is a machine that is doing, or including the server, that is a whenever a person uses the enters the amount, that is deducted from the his or her account, that is doing the online banking services. Then e-publishing, supply chain management, online catalogs and directories, remote inventory management, online knowledge and information processing. That is, there is online knowledge and information processing that is also carried out by the e-commerce. So these are the various business applications in which the online or e-commerce is used. So these are the three layers that is covered in the last class. Now come to the next part. That is this framework is over. That is, these are the various parts. Now let's see what are the e-commerce framework objects. That is, what are the contents, what are the objects that is available in e-commerce. This is the next part, that is the e-commerce building blocks, that is used for creating the framework for creating the e-commerce, that are the building blocks of the e-commerce. So what are the building blocks? One is the objects and one is the object classes. So these are the two building blocks of the e-commerce. One is the object and another one is the object classes. This says the activities and functions of e-commerce need certain basic building blocks. So whenever we do the e-commerce, or whenever we take the functions and the actions or activities of the functionality of e-commerce, we use them, that need certain basic building blocks also. What are the building blocks? That is the unstructured information. The first building block is unstructured information, that is the reports, free-form text, voice, video. So these are the various unstructured information, that is also a building block, that is also available in e-commerce. Then structured information. First one is unstructured information, next one is structured information, that is EDI messages, electronic forms, contracts, contact rules, design specification. That is the second one, that is the structured information. Then accounts, account databases, accounting rules. That is the third information, that is the third block that is used. So first one is unstructured information, that is the information that is not in a proper sequence, that is the unstructured information. For example, reports, free-form text, voice, video, etc. One is structured information, that is there must be a proper information, that is the structured information. For example, electronic form, EDI form, that is the electronic data interchange form, messages, contacts, rules, design specifications, etc. Then third one is account databases, accounting rules. That is the third one, that there must be a proper accounting rules, accounting procedures, accounting databases. Then next is transactions, because whenever we do the e-commerce, there must be a proper transactions, because without transaction nothing is there. So if we are not doing any transaction, so how is that possible, or how is it possible that how to use that, or how to use the e-commerce? That is, transaction is one of the important building block of e-commerce. That is the building block means like a pillar which we use in the house. It is like a pillar. So first of all, there must be a pillar that is standing up, so we can build the house, we can build the home, we can build anything. So first of all, pillars are available. So these are the various pillars or the building blocks of e-commerce. Next is transactions. Next is records. There must be a record of each and every entry that is doing with the e-commerce. Then agents and brokers. There is a proper, there must be a proper agents and brokers that is available with e-commerce. That is information filters, translators, trusted third parties. Then object for sale, that is the objects for sale means this is also a building block, that is the requirement of the objects for sale, that is movies, videos, software objects, contacts, information in a document, etc. That is the object for sales. Then decision support models and simulations, that this is also a building block, that must be a decision support model that is available, like MIS, that is a management information system. In the simulations, that is also a building block. So these are the various building blocks of the e-commerce. One is unstructured information, structured information, account databases, accounting rules, transactions, records, agents and brokers, objects for sale, decision support model and simulations. These building blocks are likely to become the standard digital object of e-commerce. So these building blocks are like the pillars, or the or likely to become the standard digital objects of e-commerce. Over time, they will probably become increasingly comprehensive and redefined or refined. So these are the various standard objects that is used. That is, over time they will use, or they will know, becomes increasingly comprehensive and refined. So these are the various blocks, or these are the various building blocks that is available for developing the e-commerce. Now, what are the issues that is involved in e-commerce? So these are the various issues that is involved in e-commerce. What are the issues? These are the issues: financial issues, legal issues, market access, cultural issues, network protocol and technical issues. So these are the various issues that is, or that is a challenging part in the e-commerce. That is the issues. Now let's see what are the issues that is the challenging part in e-commerce. So if I'm talking about the issues, that means certain parts that that becomes a hindrance for the e-commerce. That is not a proper way. There must be not a proper way. That it becomes a hindrance for the e-commerce. So these are the various, or there are various issues that is involved in e-commerce. Now let's see what are the issues that is available. First one is financial issues. So that is the first part, that is the financial issues. So there must be a there should be a challenging condition that there is a financial issues that is available in e-commerce. That includes customs, taxations, electronic payment and fund transfer. So customs, that means the according to the custom that is used, according to the text values that is used, that is the taxation. Electronic payments and fund transfers, that there must be a electronic payment, that is every payment is doing electronically. And fund transfer means transferring the fund from one place to another place. Then next issue is legal and regulatory issues. So these are the two issues that is related to the amount, that is related to the money. One is how much tax is applicable on this one, what is the custom value for this one, then how payment is achieved electronically, how we can give the payment or how we can provide the payment electronically, that is the electronic payment and fund transfer. Then the next one is legal and regulatory issues. That is the legal issues and regulatory issues are also provided in e-commerce. Sorry, are also available in e-commerce, not provided, because these are not the good thing, but these are the obstacles to the e-commerce. So the next issues are the legal and regulatory issues. Now let's see what are the legal issues and what are the regulatory issues. That includes uniform commercial code. That is the next part, that is the issue that is used, that is there is a uniform commercial code, that is a proper, or there is a unique commercial code for everything. That is also a legal issue. So this is the good part, that every transaction have a different unique code, that if I'm doing the transaction at one part, if I'm doing the transaction at another part, so there must be a unique commercial code for every transaction. Nothing I'm doing the transaction on one part, if I'm doing the transaction on another part, no, that does not make that there is a duplicate value, but the values code that is used is a unique, that is the uniform commercial code. Then intellectuals property protection, that there must be a proper rules regulation that is followed. For example, if I'm purchasing something, right, So there must be a proper property protection that is available. The property must be protected intellectually. That is, there should be a rules regulation that is followed for the property protection. So this is one of the important issues that is available. That is one of the major strength of the e-commerce, that there must be a intellectual property protection. Then the next one is privacy. This is also the important concern, that there must be a proper uh, privacy that is used in e-commerce. Nothing that if I'm paying something, my password or my debit card number, credit card number is reachable to anyone. So it can be hacked by anyone. No, that's not the case. It cannot be hacked by anyone. So this is also a case that it cannot be hacked by anyone. So this is also a legal and regulatory issue that is available. So there must be a privacy among the information. Then the next is security, confidentiality and integrity. This is the important point. There must be a proper security in e-commerce. That is what I said, that there is no case of theft, there is no case of stealing, because there are so many unauthorized users that is available online. Though so many hackers, so many crackers that is available online. So there must be a proper security mechanism among the users, among the various parts of users. There must be a confidence information, confident information. There must be a proper integrity that is used. So there is the security, confidentiality and integrity. Then the next one is protection of consumer rights and interest. That there must be a proper protection of consumer rights that is available. There must be a proper interest that is generated. For example, if I am a customer, I have a full right to use something. I have a full right to destroy something. I have a full right to use something. That is a protection of consumer rights and interest. That there should be a proper consumer right and interest that is available. Then content liability. There should be a proper content liability that is available. That is also an issue. That is there is no, if there is no liability, there is no method that is used. That is a content liability. Then the next one is dispute resolution and jurisdiction. That this is also issue, that is a regulatory issue, that there is a proper dispute resolution. There should be a resolution that is used, that is a dispute resolution. If there is any dispute, if there is any illegal issue that is available, so there must be a proper dispute resolution mechanism and jurisdiction that is available, or that is doing the online transaction. That is a dispute resolution and jurisdiction. So these are the various legal and the regulatory issues that is available. One is there must be a unique commercial code that is available. There is a unique commercial code for every transaction. There must be a proper intellectual property protection. That is, if I'm purchasing something, right? If I'm getting something, so there must be a proper intellectual property protection. There must be some act. There must be some rules regulation that is followed while using the intellectual property protection. Then privacy, that is, there should be a proper privacy mechanism that is used, privacy methods that can be used for the proper planning, for proper guidance, for proper e-commerce transactions. Then secure, confidentiality and integrity, that every transaction must be secure, must be confident and must be integrate means every transaction must match with their verification code. If there is some missing, if the verification is not matching, so there is not that transaction is not successfully made. That is the integrity. Next one is protection of consumer rights and interests, that there should be a proper protection of consumer rights in the products interest that is available. Then content liability, that is a liability, or there should be a proper content liability that is available for e-commerce. Then there must be a rules for dispute resolution and jurisdiction. Now, what are the issues that is related to the market? Because everything is on the market, everything on the based on the market. Because if there is no demand of e-commerce in the market, how is it possible to make the transactions over the internet, over the internet, that is using the internet, that is using the how to use the e-commerce. So there must be a proper marketing planning, proper rules regulation that is follow. So there are various issues that is related to the market. Now first one is market development stage. So first stage is your market development stage that is used or that is applicable. So first of all, there is a development in the market. That is, every consumer, every taker, or every user has to take or have to take the market strategies. That is, it follows the market strategies. What is the rule in the market? What are the demand and the supply that is used in the market? If the demand is high, what is the criteria? If the supply is high, what is the criteria? So there must be a proper demand and supply mechanism, or there should be a balanced condition among the demand and supply, right? Then there is a competition. Then next part is competition. Then that is, there must be a proper competition among the various customers, among the various websites, because without competition nothing is available, nothing is used. So there must be a proper competition. That is also a market related issue that is used. Then customer orientation, that is, because customer is the king if he or she is dealing the transaction, and if customer is the king, so why we don't, or why we neglect the customer? So there must be a, every approach must reflect, or every approach is applicable for the customer orientation. That is, first of all, seek the set, or make the target for the customer. That is, what is the customer, what is their need, how it can be achieved, what is their criteria, how it can possible. That is, a customer orientation is one of the important method, one of the best method that is used in the, or one of the major issue that is applicable in the e-commerce. So one is, next is customer orientation. That is, everything for the customer, because customer is the king for the e-commerce, right? Then next part is trust and reliability. That is, uh, in the mindset of the every customer, everything is made, or in the mindset of customer, that must be made that it is trustworthy and reliability. That is, we have to make the, or we have to realize the customer that, yeah, this transaction is trustworthy, this is the trustworthy sites, by using various options, by using various criteria. Yeah, this is trustworthy, how it can be used, how is that be possible. This is the market related issues. That is the market development stage. That is, there is, should be proper market development, proper advertisement, proper marketing. That is the market development stage. Then competition, there should be a competition in the market. Without competition no one can survive, because if there is no competition nothing is mentioned. So there should be a proper competition among the market, or in the market. Then customer orientation, then that is, there should be a proper customer orientation. That is, everything for the customer only. So mostly focus is on customer only. That is, the customer is the king of every transaction. Then trust and reliability. That is, while doing the transactions over the internet, make sure that every customer knows, or every customer thinks that, yeah, this is a trustworthy site, we can trust on this site, we can rely on this site. So this is trust and reliability. That is a market related issues. That is a trust and reliability. The next is network protocols and technical standards. That is the next part. That is the next issue that is available. That there should be a proper networking protocol that is used. There should be a proper technical standard that is used for the e-commerce. That is the network protocols and the technical standards. So first point says transmission protocols and standards. That there should be a proper transmission protocol that is used. I will tell you some names of the protocol. First of all, what is a protocol? I'm saying network protocol, transmission protocol, everything. But first of all, what is a protocol? So protocol are nothing but the rules regulation that we follow over the internet. So if there is any rule that the password must be of 8 characters, this is one of the rule. So that is a protocol, that the rules regulation that we follow over the internet is the protocol. So this network protocols and technical standards include the transmission protocols and standards. That is, there should be a proper protocol that is used for the transmission. That is the transmission protocols and the standards. That there should be a proper standard that is maintained, that is available for the e-commerce. So various standards, various protocols that is used for the transmission standard that is used. Then multimedia format, that there should be a proper multimedia format that is available, that is a multimedia format for the protocols and the technical standards, that there should be a proper or the unique multimedia format that is used, that is for example mp3, jpg, jpg, png. So when using the e-commerce, various multimedia formats are also applicable, also used. What are the multimedia formats? Like mp3 or mpeg, jpeg, that is moving picture expert group, or jpeg is joint photographic expert group. So there must be a proper, or there is a unique multimedia format that is used for the e-commerce, that is the multimedia formats. uh, then next is hardware standards, that is there should be a proper hardware standard that is used. There should be a proper hardware guidelines that is used, that is our proper rules regulation that is followed for the hardware also, that is the hardware standards. Then next is interoperability, that is the interoperability means the customer is using the interoperability, customer is using the interoperability means everything is doing online, because everything is doing online. So there must be a condition, there must be a rules regulation for the interoperability, that is everything is doing online. So there must be a condition, there must be a provision for the interoperability, that is one function operates with the another uh, one function operates with the help of another operation, that is the interoperability. So there must be a proper interoperability, that is one is using with the another, so there is a unique interoperability among themselves. Then backward and forward integration of hardware and software, that is while doing the or while making the transactions over the internet, there must be a backward and forward integration of hardware and software, that is a technical standard. That is there is no, I'm doing the transaction over the internet but my bandwidth is low. No, that is not possible, because if I made the or if I enter the debit card number, after entering the debit card number, if my bandwidth is low, so my payment has gone, but product is not in the hands of me. So there is a proper bandwidth while doing the e-commerce transactions, while doing the e-commerce criteria, while doing the e-commerce operability. So there must be a backward and integration or forward integration of hardware and software. That is, there is proper use of the hardware and software in the e-commerce. Then next is document specification, that there should be a proper document specification that is used, that is the document specification. Then next is compatibility, that there should be a proper compatibility among various standards, among various tools, among various protocols, among various standards, that there is a proper compatibility that is used. Then acceptability, that is acceptability of standards, that is the standards are also accepted by each other, that is the acceptability of standards. Standards are the rules that is followed by everyone. So there should be a proper standard that is available for the internet. So these are the various network protocols issues, like what are the issues that is related to the network protocols, technical standards, that is that there must be a technical standard for the e-commerce. So these are the various terms, like there should be a proper transmission protocols that is used, like FTP. So the name, some names of protocols are FTP. As I told you earlier also, that is the file transfer protocol. That is the, whenever there is a transferring of the file from email, from anything that is doing online, that is a file transfer protocol. That means the file will be transferred by using the protocol over the internet, that is a FTP. Another protocol is SMTP, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. That means whenever we mail something to another one, so there is a criteria, there is a term, there is a protocol that is used, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So this is the protocol that is used for sending the email from one part to another part. That is a protocol that is used to send the mail from one part to another part. That is a sending the, or this is the SMTP. So for sending purpose or for mailing purpose, there must be a SMTP, that is a simple mail transfer protocol. Then next is yeah, one is FTP, one is SMTP, one is the HTTP. That is HTTP. That is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That is used for transferring the page from one part to another. As we are dealing with different pages, we are navigating from one page to another page, right? So there must be a provision how it will be navigating over the internet by using a protocol, by using a mechanism that is known as HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That means transferring the content or transferring the page from one part to another using a protocol, that is HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, right? Uh, so these are the various transmission protocol that is used, standards that is used for the e-commerce applications. Now next is a multimedia format, then hardware standards, then inter. So these are the two software standards generally known as software related to the software. And the next one, that is the next one, that this is a hardware standard that is used. So this is the hardware standard, that means the related to the hardware concept, related to the hardware components. That is the hardware standard. Then document specification, that there is must be a proper document specification that is used, and there should be a proper document specifications, forward integration and backward integration of hardware and software. That there should be a proper backward and forward integration of hardware and software. Then compatibility, that there should be a proper compatibility among the protocols, among the rules regulation that is followed over the internet. Then acceptability of standard, that there must be a acceptance, there must be a rules regulation that is followed over the network, that is the acceptability of standards. Then next one is socio-culture issues, that is the next issue that is available, or that is the, yeah, that is the next issue that is available over for the e-commerce. So these are the various socio-cultural issues. One is perceived in economic appeal. That there is a perceived economic appeal means there is a customer cost benefit analysis that is used for the e-commerce. So there is a proper condition, there is a proper rules regulation for perceiving the economic appeal, for using the economic appeal like cost benefit analysis. Then attitude towards e-commerce, that is there is a proper attitude among the e-commerce towards the e-commerce, that is the attitude towards e-commerce. Then usability, that is the usability means there should be a proper usability that will define the default navigation patterns, that is a usability. Then lifestyle, that is there should be a proper lifestyle, there is a proper rules regulation that is followed, that is a lifestyle. Then demographics of target market, that is the next part. That is demographics of target market that is used, that is there should be a there is no foundation among the demographic, that there is no geographical foundation among the e-commerce. There is everything is doing the making the transactions online, so there is a proper target market, there is no conditions on the demographics of target market. That is the next point, that is the demographics of target market. Then purchase potential, that there is a proper purchasing potential, that is generating the potential, generating the um, thing in the minds of the persons, in the minds of the customer to purchase the things, to make the transactions from the internet. So there is a purchase potential, that is the main focus is on purchasing purpose. Then social and religious dynamics, that there should be a proper social and religious dynamics, that is there should be a flexibility among the social things and the economics things, religious things. So there should be a proper social and religious dynamic that is available in the, or that is used in the e-commerce transactions. So this there is the social and religious dynamics. So first one is perceived economic appeal, then attitude towards e-commerce, usability, that will define the default navigation pattern, lifestyle, demographics of target market, purchase potential, social and religious dynamics. So these are the various socio-culture issues that is available, or these are the various issues that is used with the e-commerce, or um, that must be consideration while doing the transactions over the internet. Right. Now, next part is that is the next part that is the e-commerce or e-compatible legal and financial framework. That is an Indian approach. So that is an Indian approach means that is the approach that is followed by the Indian people, India's people. That is an e-compatible legal and financial market. That is there is a proper e-compatible methods, rules, regulation that is followed. That is a legal and financial framework. Now, let's see what is this framework. So, so first of all, let's take a break and then move to this one that is the Indian framework. That is how Indian framework is used. That is a legal and financial framework. So let's take a break right now. Come back from the break, then starting with this topic. So let's take a break. So come back from the break. Let's continue the session again. So come back from the break. So this is the next topic that is e-compatible legal and financial framework. That is e-commerce compatible. That is e-compatible with the legal and the financial framework. That is what are the legal issues, what are the financial issues that is compatible with the e-commerce. That is the e-compatible legal and financial framework. So first of all, there is the Indian approach. So this is the first approach. That is an Indian approach. What Indian thinks about the e-compatible legal and financial frameworks. This says uh, all over the world, globalization and the new information and communication technology that are restructuring the commercial distribution circuits are reinforcing the linkage between internal and external trade. That is all over the world that is using globalization and the new information and communication technologies that is used that are restructuring structuring the commercial transactions distribution circuits are reinforcing reusing the linkages between internal and external trade between internal and external usage. Even developing countries like India therefore can no more treat the internal and external sectors in isolation. That is, even developing countries like India, there is no more treat, or there is no more gap between the internal and external sectors in isolation. That is, there is no more treat the internal and external sectors. The legal and financial framework for one sector directly affects the another sector. That is, if there is any rules regulation that is followed in one sector, that must be applicable or that must be applied to the another sector. So the rules regulation standard that is used with one application must be used or must be applied to another application. So this says the legal and financial framework for one sector directly affects the other sector. Right. So while the rules and regulations which govern commercial operations remain mostly local or national in scope. So the legal and the financial framework is globally diverse or is globally used, while the regulations and the rules regulations that is used in commercial operations remain mostly local in the scope. There are two parts. One is local, one is global. Global is that is the legal and the financial framework. That is framework is applicable or framework is known to each and every one. While the rules regulation that is used that is remain local or national in scope. The growth of e-commerce will increasingly call into question the ability of public authority to impose their prerogatives on national market or international trade by their companies and citizens. Whenever there is a growth of e-commerce, that will increase the question: what is the use of public authority? How to impose their prerogatives on national markets and international trades by their companies and citizens. That is, what is the usage of illegal or what is the usage of incompatible financial issues and rules regulation that is followed over the internet. So the next is this is an Indian approach, right? Now, what is legal framework? What are the legal issues? This is the financial and the legal framework. Now, what are the legal issues that directly affects the another sector, or there is a proper connection between the one sector and another sector. That is a legal framework. This is legal issues encompasses two basic areas. So the legal issues contains two basic areas, those of regulation and those of making legal system compatible to and for e-commerce. So there are two issues, there are two basic areas. One is for the regulation and one is for making the legal system that is compatible to and for e-commerce. So one is the that is using the regulations and another that is making the legal systems that is compatible for the e-commerce, that is compatible to and for e-commerce. The latter, that is the for e-commerce through perceives as being facilitator in content requires the former for it to be effectual. That is the for e-commerce, that is a system that is used for e-commerce is used as a tool for using the e-commerce as a system compatible tool. There are in fact many things that government might reasonably wants to regulate on the internet. That is there are so many provisions, there are so many factors, there are so many methods, there are so many contents that many or there are many things that government might reasonably wants to regulate on the internet. Because if nowadays if I talk about any government policies like LIC and anything of government policies like LPG connection, like voter ID card, voter ID connection, voter ID form, so everything is doing online nowadays. So these includes various rules regulation that want to regulate over the internet. So there are in fact many things that government might reasonably wants to regulate on the internet. This includes not just serious efforts to human values such as child pornography and incitement to racial hatred, but also customer protection, the defense of intellectual property right and taxation. That is, government policies include anything that may be a defense of intellectual property right, child pornography, incitement, customer protection, human values, that is available, taxation, that is every rules and regulation, everything is doing online, everything is available online. Yeah, even if I want to pay the tax, right? So I have applied for the tax or I pay out my tax with the online method, with the internet method. Why? Because everything is doing online. I'm doing the online transactions, I'm using the online transactions. There are all issues on which countries legislate already. The existing values and laws, that is the rules and laws, would and should apply to the internet and e-commerce. The problem is not whether the internet should be regulated, but how. The problem is not that whether the internet should be regulated, whether the internet should be used, but how. This entirely new sort of communication poses several entirely new sorts of problem for regulators. That is, this new form of communication, new sort of communication, basically provides or basically uses the criteria for new sorts of problem for regulators. A legal framework for e-commerce has been provided by the IT Act, that is the Information Technology Act 2001. So this is the legal framework that is provided by the e-commerce, that is provided by the IT, that is the information technology, in year 2007. That is the first legal framework, making India only the 12th country worldwide which has been commercial legislation for e-commerce in place. So first of all, it is provided by the IT in 2001. From then it is effective, from then it is used. This act also effects consequential amendment in Indian Penal Code, the Indian Evidence Act 1872 and the RBI Act, that is 1934, to bring them in line with the requirements of digital transactions. Similar amendments are being planned for Companies Act 1956 to also facilitate e-commerce and e-governance, that is also used. So these are the various legal framework for the e-commerce, legal criteria for the e-commerce that will append or that will make the transactions for the Indian Penal Code. The IT Act essentially seeks to address three areas or perceived requirements for the digital era. That is, the IT Act that is used generally seeks or usually seeks to address these areas or three areas that is used requirement for the digital era. So whenever we use the digital transactions, whenever we use the digital payment over the internet, so these are the three criteria, these are the three areas which requires the or which perceives the requirement of the digital area, which requires the digital method for doing the transactions. Now, what are the three areas that is covered by the IT Act 2001? This includes to make possible e-commerce transactions both for B2B and business to consumer. That is to make e-commerce transactions, that is a B2B, that is a business to business, and the business to consumer. So to make the compatible e-commerce transactions, then next is to make possible e-governance transactions both government to citizen and citizen to government. So to make possible e-governance transaction, that is used, that is either with the government to citizens or citizens to government. Then to curb cyber crimes and regulate the internet. That is to use the cyber crimes, to curb the cyber crimes and regulate the internet is also possible while doing the transactions over the internet. So these are the three requirements for any digital era, for any digital transaction. What are the three requirements? First of all, there is a proper e-commerce transaction either with the B2B or proper B2C. That's why that's only we get the profit when doing the transactions either B2B or B2C. To make possible e-governance transactions both government to citizens and citizens to government. So this is also e-commerce transaction that is used, that is either use the business to citizens, sorry, government to citizens, or citizen to government, that is also used. To curb cyber crimes and regulate the internet, that is also next part, that is to curb the cyber crimes, to use the or to remove the cyber crimes and regulates the internet and maintaining the flow of the internet. This says rules under the IT Act have been formulated and a national controller for enforcing the act appointed. That is, rules under the IT Act have been formulated, have been used, and the national controller for enforcing this act, that is the IT Act, have been appointed. This controller will regulate the certifying authorities that will issue the digital signature and the system for authentication. So this controller that will or the this IT Act will regulate the certifying authorities that will issue the digital signatures and the system for authentication. These steps needs to be matched by sorting out the issues of security and payments. That is these steps, that is the steps that is used need to be matched by sorting out the issues of security and payment that is used, that is the secure payment, security is given, payment is given. Security and authentication arrangement needs to be reorganized or recognized, not reorganized. That is, there is a proper security and authentication arrangement that is given that needs to be organized or recognized and accepted globally. First of all, it is recognized and then accepted globally with the security measures, with the security arrangement. On the first, through government such as US government have been taken several steps. That is, several government or US government taken several steps. Countries like India are yet to develop reliable technology. US companies developing them are presently restricted by government from the export of such technologies, and that is an issue that needs to be addressed at the international level. That is, this paragraph only says that there must be a rules regulation that is followed. So there is a one act that is formed, that is the IT Act 2001, that must be matched, that must be used on the issues of the securities and the payments. That must be organized with the issue of the security and the payments. So in the first two governments, that is the US government, there are various varieties that is reliable or that is used to develop reliable technologies. Now next is security and control provisions in the IT Act, especially those relating to cyber crimes, have been criticized by the media. That is the security and the control provisions in the IT Act that is used, that is especially related to the cyber crime, that is any crime that is committed over the internet, have been criticized by the media and free speech advocates. After all, the right of freedom of speech and the right to information are fundamental to democracy and attempt to control IT. So there is a right of speech, or there is a right of freedom of speech, and the right to freedom are fundamental to the democracy and attempts to control IT. And e-commerce must not seem to be attempt to curb the growth of the internet. So the right of freedom of speech and the right of information are the fundamental concepts of the democracy, and there must be an attempt to control IT and e-commerce, control the IT, and e-commerce must be able to curb all the things growth of the internet, curb the growth of internet, such as countries in countries like Middle East and China are attempting to do so. The board, the broad and sweeping powers given to the police. That is the broad uh, and the sweeping power that is given to the police without a warrant or judicial overview, have been criticized by several experts as well as by NASCO. The government needs to be extremely careful in this area, as attempts at controlling pornography should not be seen as or result in creating hindrances to the growth of internet in India. This is whenever we do the transactions over the internet. So there are some illegal transactions also, like pornography. So that is not a correct transaction. That is not a correct site that is available, that is used by the government. Why? Because pornography is not a good thing, because that is a cheap thing that is available on the internet. So the government must take some rules regulation to, so that pornography is not available or should not seen. So there must be a steps, there must be a rules regulation that is followed, that is covered under the IT Act 2001. So everyone has to follow that rules and regulation. With the invent of, with the advent, that is with the introduction of new security mechanisms, that is when new security mechanisms is introduced, such as electronic, digital signature, digital certificates. So nowadays, or in last 10 years or in last 5 years, there are new technologies, there are new security mechanisms that is available, like secure electronic transaction, secure electronic values, digital certificates, digital signatures, etc. The future of electronic commerce rests on confidentiality. That is, with the invent of new security mechanisms that is used, that is digital signature, digital certificate, the future of electronic commerce rests on confidentiality. That is the future of electronic commerce, that is the future of e-commerce rests on the confidentiality, that there must be some confident information that is available, or the information that is available is on confident basis, or is a confident information. Another fact of security is privacy. That is another fact or another concern that is used with the security is the privacy. That is, every information is private, that is closely related to the data collection. Whenever I collect the data, that is closely related to the security, interpretation, dissemination and circulation. That is another factor that is used for the security is the privacy, that is related to the data collection, interpretation, dissemination and circulation. So these are the various issues that is available. So there are various security factors that is available, that is closely related to the data collection, interpretation, dissemination and circulation. Standards are also required to govern the way in which personal information is acquired. That is, standards are also needed, or standard is also needed, or standards are required to govern the way, or to make the way in which personal information is acquired, disclosed and are used online. So there must be a proper standard that is used to govern the way. One of the criticism leveled against the IT Act is that it does not have any clause ensuring security and protection of the online customer. So this is also a case, that is, it does not have any security mechanisms and protection of the online consumer. Legal opinion is divided on this point, with some experts arguing that the existing Customer Protection Act 1986 is quite comprehensive. I said that there is a act, that is a IT Act 2001. So there must be a provision, or there must be a some talks on the existing Consumer Protection Act, that is a 1986 Act, that is quite comprehensive and can be extended to cover online consumers also. As after all, online shopping is just another way of transacting the business, because That is another way of transacting the business that is available, that is used online for transacting the businesses. However, even if this be the case, there are several aspects that is peculiar to digital transactions such as electronic payment, confidentiality, transaction data, etc. that lead to problem arising in cyberspace. So whenever there is aspect that is related to the digital transactions such as electronic payment, that is e-payment, confidentiality, transaction data, etc. that leads to the problem arising in cyberspace, arising in cyber law. Then the next paragraph says an international consensus on privacy protection is developing around the OEDC guidelines on the protection of privacy and trans-border flows of personal data. So if there is any international consensus on the privacy protection, if there is any statistical information that is available on the privacy protection that is developing around the OECD guidelines that is available for the protection of on the protection of privacy and trans-border flow. So there are some guidelines that is available, that is OECD guidelines that is available for the protection of privacy and trans-border flows of personal data, which embodies a well-established principle of fair information practices. These guidelines could form the basis of establishing privacy and confidentiality in the Indian e-commerce environment. So whenever we use the various guidelines of the OECD, so that provides or that forms the basis of establishing privacy and confidentiality in the Indian e-commerce environment. Many of the IT Act as promulgated deals with citizen interaction. That is most of the IT that is used that deals with the citizen interaction with the government. That is how citizens interact with the government, or there should be a policy to govern that there must be a rules regulation to deal with the citizen interaction with the government. Certainly, a proper and far-reaching mission towards e-governance, but there are several hurdles before this becomes a reality. That there are some obstacles that is available in between. While doing that, there must be a proper rules regulation for the e-commerce. The main being that is the main hurdle is that government departments not only lack the hardware for electronic transactions, that is electronic government departments not only lacking the hardware for electronic transaction, but will also need to reorient their system and procedures before they are ready to interact through electronic documents. So the main thing is that, or the main need is that there must be a reorient the systems and procedures before they are ready to interact through the e-commerce, or that is the electronic documents. Now, the next topic is e-governance. Now, what is e-governance? As the name advises, electronic governance. That is implication of the or regulate the rules and policies of the government of the state. So this says e-governance means or implies action and commitment of the state. That is, what are the actions or what is the commitment of the state and its agency at two levels. That is action, what action is taken, what is the commitment, that is the action and commitment of the state and its agency at two levels. What are the two levels in which the commitment takes place, action takes place? It involves the promotion of the information and communication technology. So this involves e-governance involves the promotion of the information. So what are the two main criterias, or what are the two agencies that is available at different levels? What are the e-governance that is available at different levels? First level includes whenever there is a promotion of the information. So our first way is that promotion of the information and communication technology and especially e-commerce on the one hand. So it involves, that is, it means that the e-governance involves the promotion of the information, that is promotion of the content and the communication technology, especially e-commerce on the one hand. That is, especially the e-commerce is taken at the priority basis. That is the e-commerce on the one hand. Then the adopting of these technology also, and they involve in the matter of a completely new type of commitment. That is, whenever there is a adoption of the new technology, whenever there is adoption of the new method that is available, that involves in the matter of completely new type of commitment, open system, and the use of medium of the internet for government, businesses, citizen interaction, and most important for development. So whenever there is adoption of the technology, whenever there is an interaction of the technology, involvement of the new type of commitment, open system, and use of the medium for internet, for government, businesses, citizen interaction, and most important for development. These are the two levels at which the government e-governance will take place. What are the two levels? First of all, e-governance promotes the various information, provides various information related to the communication technology, and especially e-commerce on the one hand. That is the giving or providing the information on the e-commerce. Then whenever there is the adoption of the e-governance, that is the adoption of the technology involves a matter of completely new type of commitment, open system, and the medium for internet for business or government businesses. So these are the two levels at which the e-governance takes place. E-governance is used. Fortunately, today several e-governance projects are underway in several states of India. That is, nowadays several e-governance project, that is most of the e-governance project that is using the government rules regulation over the internet is using in a day by day basis used in India. The introduction of e-governance could turn out to be one of the most reaching and progressive steps in India. So whenever we introduce the e-governance, that is the introduction of e-governance could turn out to be one of the most challenging factor and the progressive step in India. So whenever I say that e-governance, that is the introduction of e-governance that takes place or that turn out to be one of the reaching factor, that turn out to be one of the progressive steps in India. So this is one of the important step that is available whenever there is an introduction of e-governance. Not only this, not only does it signal a commitment of government to use an introduction of IT for efficiency in government services. So this does not neglect, or this does not increase, or this does not give a signal of commitment of government to use. So e-governance is nothing but the introduction of the signal. No, that is not possible. So not only does it signal a commitment of government to use and introduction of IT for efficiency in government services and citizen interface, but it could also be the most potent weapon against the emerging and growing digital divide. That is, it is one of the challenging phase, or it is one of the important phase that is available, that is the e-governance. That is one of the government service that is available, citizen interface, that should be the most important weapon that is used against the emerging and growing digital divide. That is, whenever we use the e-governance, whenever we use the e-government, whenever we use the rules regulation, that is emerging, that is the emerging factors and the growing factor among the digital era. Now, some of the challenges in this regard. These are the various challenges in this regard. That is the e-governance. That is what are the challenges that is used in this regard. I'm not taking this topic right now because this is too much. We have covered the various aspects of e-commerce, various issues of e-commerce, e-governance, e-adoption. So we have covered so many topics, and this is a theoretical module. This is not a C language, that is a practical module, but this is a theoretical module. So I'm not taking this topic right now because if I'm taking this topic, that will become the hodgepodge. So I'm not taking this right now. So I'm leaving this class here only, and from on Monday I will be taking this chapter or this topic again. That is, what are the challenges that is faced in the e-governance. That is, what are the challenges that is available in e-governance. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone for listening me. But if there is any doubts, then you can clear the doubts, you can text the doubts, you can provide the doubt to me, and I will answer you. So there is no foundation that the doubts are not clear. No, you can feel free to ask from me anywhere, anytime, not related to this module, but related to the procedure programming, computing system, any module at any time, either through email, either through chat, either through anything. You can use any media. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. So thanks a lot, and bye bye. Enjoy your weekend.